Some of the messages made references to living in fear, citizens being controlled, and masks being a sign of cowardice. Not only were the stickers inappropriate, but very difficult to remove. That was the City Hall case that was dropped. So this was a post that the Manchester PD made after they arrested us and said the stickers were all COVID, anti-COVID, and that's why they admitted to it. And then they deleted it, they erased it, and changed it to, it was inappropriate for these stickers to be placed on public property, and they were very difficult to remove.
Can I ask you a question about your group's message regarding COVID? Like, do you guys think that it's not real, or do you just not like...
Different for everybody.
No, it is different for everybody.
Some people think the virus isn't real. I think there's a virus. I don't know if you're familiar with germ theory and terrain theory. There's two different theories of virology. I think they're both the same. There's always a bacterial or fungal or toxicity component, and then the cells start producing a virus, what we call a virus, which typically will clean out or destroy the bacteria or the fungus, but when there's too much of it, it causes an overload, and the virus replicates too much because it's not even a living thing. It's too much fungal or too much bacterial or toxicity overload that creates the viral component. So the virus can't even really be transmitted. It's the bacterial component or the fungal component that could be transmitted that will cause it to. So I think both camps, it's somewhere in the middle in my estimation, but you know, try telling either side that either doesn't exist or it does exist.
Well, what about, I mean, given that there's so many people who've had it, and I'm sure people...
I've had it twice.
But you believe that...
I haven't been tested or anything, but I know because other people, they tested positive that had it, and we all caught it at the same place.
Right, so like if you guys have had it, then how can people believe it's not real?
Because...
Like that's what I don't understand.
Right, so people go down, they put out junk conspiracy stuff to make people disbelieve anything that goes outside the narrative. So 99% of the stuff out there is what we would term junk conspiracy, and that's like chaff. If somebody's shooting at your plane, right?
Please rise.
They put out that chaff.
Relax, everyone. Go ahead and take your seats. Is Attorney Blanchard around?
I'll go get him.
All right. Okay,
Motion to
does he
dismiss,
wanna-
failure to prosecute.
No, all the evidence is already in. Does he want to do his closing argument?
No, he does.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to get you.
All right. We back on the record, Madam Clerk, if you please. Okay, we're back on the record in this matter, and we're going to have closing arguments. Mr. Staples, you get to go first, and then the prosecution has the last words. I think I'm pretty familiar with what the issues are in this case and the parties' anticipated legal arguments, but please, sir, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. You know, my closing argument is that I 100% believe that this is protected speech. It's on public property. It is political in nature. And I mean, we all took pictures of it at City Hall, which was the first arrest, and I took pictures of it when I did it to the police station because I know the elements aren't there. I do have that belief, and me posting with my public profile should, I believe, be sufficient to prove that. And if anything, it could be a graffiti charge. I think that could potentially not be defeated by a First Amendment argument, but because that element is in the criminal mischief charge, that, you know, that's what defeats it. Never mind that, but also the fact that both officers testified to that there was no damage. So if there was no damage, then it doesn't satisfy a criminal mischief charge. And you know, that's all I have to say about it. And this guy, well, other than the fact that he knew that while I was, you know, going back and forth on this other charge that he dropped for the city hall thing, he never said anything to me, but he said something to some of the other guys that were being charged that they had open warrants. Why didn't he tell me that I had an open warrant for putting the stickers on the police station? He just waited, and then he dropped the charges, and then he comes and hits me. I go to file a complaint at the police station, and they arrest me while I'm trying to file a complaint for the first arrest. I mean, is that not even further retaliation? This is ridiculous.
Anything else the court needs to know, sir?
No.
All right, Attorney Blanchard, as the prosecution state, you have the last word. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, pending complaint is a violation of mischief contrary to RSA 634:2. Normally, I wouldn't give the court, giving a copy to Mr. Staples now, a copy of the applicable statute, but I'd like to do so because it has been somewhat recently amended in a relevant and material way by the legislature. It's certainly posted on their official legislative website, but I don't know if it's made it to the court's copy of the most recent statutory code book. If I could bring it to your attention.
Whatever the statute is, I will take it in and take a look at it. What else, sir?
So applicable and effective January 1 of 2021, the legislature expanded RSA 634:2 Roman 1.
Well, I guess then, hold on, I have to ask, isn't it really what the statute said on March 9th, 2021?
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, and
It's
that's
today.
exactly what it said on January 1st and March 9th is the same thing.
Exactly, and today is
Okay.
still applicable.
Okay?
So pre-January 1, 2021, criminal mischief ended by saying recklessly damage the property of another.
Yeah, no, this
Hold
is
on,
not
sir.
correct,
You
sir.
get to make your
He just
argument.
lied.
Sir, please. You
Okay.
get to make your argument uninterrupted.
Sure,
I
he
give
just
you a
lied,
brief
though.
moment
Just
for
saying.
rebuttal.
We will.
But again, so that everything that we're doing can be properly recorded.
Yes, sir.
We're not gonna be talking over each
Sorry
other.
about that.
Just in case one or both parties are unhappy with the court's final decision in this matter. Go ahead, Attorney Blanchard.
Thank you. So drawing the court's attention to Roman numeral, or paragraph I, the legislature, in defining this statute, has set out sort of a two-prong or alternative prong analysis for what constitutes criminal mischief. One, recklessly damage the property of another. That's clearly there. Or, separate clause, cause temporary damage to public property, including, and here's a list of things that it included that count. Vandalism, defacement, and any unauthorized alteration. So I draw the court's attention to that, what was in effect at the time. The thrust, obviously, it's clear, of Mr. Staples' defense is, as I understand it, number one, there was no damage and you need damage. And two, even if there was, it's protected the behavior of putting the sticker on the public property here, the police department door, is a First Amendment type free speech protected activity. What I'd like to draw the court's attention to, in addition, is while it's certainly not mandatory or binding, to the extent Your Honor is interested in speaking from this court with a consistent voice, I would suggest to you that exactly these two issues, damage, First Amendment, have been addressed in substantial written orders stemming from this court. I'd like to draw Your Honor's attention to State v. Mueller, as well as State v. Wesley Gilreath. Copies provided to the defendant. These were issued both by Judge Lyons. I would suggest to you that the facts of these two cases are substantially similar, perhaps even appropriately called nearly identical. A little over 10 years ago, a group of folks came to Manchester. They, similar to Mr. Staples, had very strong held beliefs. They had a message that they wanted to deliver. They had a certain target audience that they wanted to deliver that message to. In the two cases that I've just presented to you for your consideration and review, the issue there was the group of people took their message to the Manchester Police Department. At the time, it was on Chestnut Street, but it specifically went to the police department, and they wrote their message using children or sidewalk chalk on the exterior surface